everyone, and welcome to a new video on the channel. Today we are going to be doing another chatty journal with me session. This was filmed right after I set up for April and before sharing that with you guys online. So I knew that I'd be able to get away with doing a bit of April inputting at the end of this video, but for the purpose of this session I just wanted to sit down and make sure that I'd caught up with the significant amount of books that I hadn't added. And by significant, it's not like 10 or something, but it was still quite a few books that I needed to sort of add to the journal before I sat down and did my wrap up. So this was done at a later point in March, and I've obviously done my wrap up since. So I did toy with the idea of just going straight into wrap up content. Simply because some of it may be a little bit repetitive, but you guys really enjoyed my last chatty journal with me session. You like seeing the journal being actually used, which I totally agree is good footage because there's nothing more satisfying than watching this reading tracker get filled in for me. So I thought, you know what, I will just share all the content, and the more the merrier. And if you find that this video is boring, or the subsequent wrap up one that will be coming after this on Tuesday maybe, then I totally respect that as well. So today, like I mentioned, we're going to be spending some time in this journal just putting in some information that I haven't kept up with over March. So for the first portion, I was just filling in the reading tracker. We're now adding some more books to the Bookshelfie, and I actually had a hard time finding one. So the great thing about this year's setup is that I wanted to do this scattering effect, so all the book covers would be like a rainbow when it's completed. However, I could not, for the life of me, find a number. I think, as you can see, I'm getting a little bit frustrated. It's actually on the front page of the flap, and it's the one that's angled. I've found it now. But yeah, it always sort of puts me in this little bit of a limbo, especially when I'm filming, to be like, quick, find it. And obviously the numbers are so tiny. But I really enjoy this, and I think I'll try and do this again next year. I just think it works out really fun when the colours are all split up all over the place, and it makes it look like an actual library shelf. Though in saying that, I suppose it would be also really nice to just put it in order and have it like a rainbow shelf in the like orderly fashion that a lot of people do in real life. I've done it before and I really think it's quite pretty. But that it is a downside to that page is how long it takes me to find all the information. We're now on the A to Z challenge, and I'm just adding in some information here that I will have to then print out covers for. I'm really pleased with how my challenges are going this year already. I'm not going to go too much into that yet because we do have the Q1 flip through coming, and that will be when I will talk about that. But essentially, I've done a lot of these prompts already, so I'm going to have hardly any issue filling them in for the rest of the year. And it might kind of get a little bit boring towards the end of the year when we've got this already filled in. I'm guessing this will be done by July. So, and that's me being quite generous. So I definitely have a few more on the books trope side to fill in as opposed to the reading bingo. Maybe I made the reading bingo slightly easier than I should have, but that's fine. I always believe that challenges like this shouldn't be made to push you too far out of your comfort zone, and it should be about what you actually read. So that's why I make my own prompts. For the TBR takedown, I did end up marking this book off as DNF because I did pick it up as an audiobook and I didn't really enjoy it. So I did end up DNFing it, and I've just realized that I didn't mark that down in my wrap up, and so now I have to go and add that in, something that I haven't added, and now I'm gonna have to change some numbers and stuff. But oh well, we'll just add it into Q2 and it'll be fine. We'll just pretend that I didn't DNF it until then. But yeah, that page is being a little bit of a pain. I was hoping that I'd be a bit more ahead in that challenge, but I guess if I'm going to have extra time later on in the year for these challenges, then I should be pleased that it's, sorted that way. That I'll have more time to focus on that particular challenge with the reading my physical TBR. On my monthly theme page here is where I just track the sort of themes that I have per month. And I feel confident enough to be able to put down April's theme right now because you guys will see it on the channel already. But if you haven't, the video is up. And I would love if you would go check it out and give it some love. These little boxes are just collagey. They may not make a lot of sense to someone to look at, but I think they work for me and show me what the theme is. I did try to layer this washi tape because I did have a cut off, but it was a little bit too big. You couldn't see the maps underneath, so I decided to cut it off. And now I don't really like it, but it still represents the theme, so I'm just going to leave it for now. But yeah, that was probably a bit of a fail on my behalf. Now I am going to flip past the book club reads, and in my wrap-up video I do actually spend a lot more time on that section and fix it all up, because one of the things I didn't account for was that I wanted to track 2 book clubs, and I've only got a space for the book club that I co-host called 𝓘𝓽𝓮𝓷𝓮𝓿. It's a fantasy book club with a dear friend of mine, Millie, and a few lovely people that I've been reading with for now, gosh, I think 3 years now? Admittedly, this year's been a little bit flaky on our behalf because it's just been a year. I'm sure people can respect that. But yeah, it's crazy. So I'm actually reading a book for the other book club that I belong to, which is Goober's Book Club. And in April, we don't have a book for 𝓘𝓽𝓮𝓷𝓮𝓿. So I had to figure out a way to work that. So in that video, you'll see what I came up with. It's not foolproof, but it's what I'm going with. And I will obviously leave some space for feedback in that video. So the rest of the portion of this video is going to be spent in my March section, just adding everything in. So if you're unfamiliar with my setups, I have like a first portion of my journal dedicated to year-long challenges, other pages that I always gravitate to having in a main reading journal. I do have multiple journals, so it does mean that some pages that you might expect aren't in there, but that's because they're in my reading data journal, which we don't see in this video, but you will see in the wrap-up. And then I have a monthly section, and for me, monthly section is much larger than some other people in what I track, as opposed to you know, like some people do reviews, and I don't have that in this journal. I actually have a reviews journal as well. I have too many journals. So yeah, essentially, these pages may not be what everyone else usually uses in the everyday and monthly setups, so that's fine. But for me, this is what works. I have this calendar view here that we're working on, filling in the visual spots where I read a particular book. Obviously, I'm using a color-coded system there in the middle of the 2-page spread, but this calendar view shows when I read a book. So if it takes me, as you can see, I'm doing this purple one right now. If it takes me multiple days to read it, but I only have 2 sessions reading it, then I'm only going to mark down 2 days because I didn't put in all those days reading it. Even though when you look at the like roundup on, you know, certain pages, then certain trackers online and stuff, they will say that you read it for multiple days when, you know, there were only 2 sessions. So yeah, that's how I sort of plan out this page here. I did end up marking off another arc, and I did mention in my last video that I was very concerned about how I was going to add in, because in this video here, you'll see that I go and do my new arcs list for April, and I just went in quite boldly and didn't write down the one that I was reading at the time, and when I narrated that video, I was quite concerned that I wasn't going to get it done in time. But then I got sick. I'm sure you can still hear the remnants of my congestion. And I spent the entire day in bed and read the book. So it's, you know, that worry was for nothing because I got it sorted. So I'm glad that I didn't have to try and figure that out and do something about that, because whilst I would have just put it at the end of the page if I hadn't finished it in March, you know, it all worked out in the end, and I'm glad that I didn't have to go to any extra effort. So now we're just filling in quotes on my first lines page. I love this page so much, and I'm so glad with how full it looks. I didn't have to add in any extra detail or decoration to this page when I was finished with it in the next video. So that was very good. And yeah, just a lot of inputting stuff that may not make any sense to you guys while you're watching this. Makes complete sense to me. I really love seeing the journal just fill up. And so I hope that if you're still watching this video that you are as well. Let me know what is something that you really enjoyed about March. Obviously for me, and I keep going on about it, it was going to see 𝓤𝓼 in concert. They were absolutely amazing. Yeah, had an amazing time seeing them live. And then obviously my sister turned 20 at the end of the month. I don't think there was really too much more that stood out in March. Just a lot of trying to find new ways to deal with chronic illness. But we talk about that a lot on this channel, so today we're not going to. What else? Yeah, no, I have a veggie garden and a couple of flowers in there as well. And we're getting to the end of the growing season now. I live in the southern hemisphere, and I was very pleased because this is my first year growing from seed. Though I didn't grow tomatoes from seed, I did get some plants from the store. But I was very pleased because I've never grown tomatoes to this extent, like with a focus, because I wanted to get as much tomato produce in so then I could freeze it all up and then when I had time make some pasta sauce with it. And I have successfully grown almost 4 kgs of Roma tomatoes and I'm really pleased about it. I don't actually eat tomatoes, which is very weird. I will eat it in pasta sauces and I'll eat it in ketchup and stuff like that. I will only eat tomatoes if they're sun-dried, which is not the most healthiest way to eat them because that's living in a whole bunch of oil. But yeah, that's pretty much the only way I will eat tomatoes. And it was down to texture when I was a kid, and I've tried again as an adult and not really found much luck, which is a shame because I would love to have more variety in my diet that way. But successfully grown 4 kgs and I didn't try a single one of them. My aunt came over for my sister's birthday and I had some that weren't going to be, they were so ripe that they probably were not suitable to put into the freezer, and so she tried them and she said they were absolutely delicious. So I'm very excited to become a bit more self-sufficient that way and make my own tomato sauce, pasta sauce. So yeah, that's really exciting because not that you need to know, but I actually have a little bit of an allergy towards garlic and onion, which is like the worst feeling in the world to say. I absolutely love the flavor of garlic, but I can't have it fresh. I can only have it powdered, and even then sometimes I'll react. So a lot of pasta sauces naturally have like garlic and onion in them, and I can't have either. They are from the same root family, so I can't have them. I also really react to ginger as well. I can't remember if that's part of it as well, of that family group. But yeah, so the idea of being able to make my own pasta sauce and not have to worry about that and can flavor it myself is like a big goal of mine. You can tell I'm getting older and closer to the age of 40 when this is something that's really exciting to me. But I really like the idea of, I live on a farm, so I really would like the idea of being able to live off the land a little bit more. And this year we definitely have, or this growing season. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. So I guess that's something that was a win in March. I successfully managed to get almost 4 kgs. And we had a beautiful 𝓸𝓷𝓷𝓿 plant that thrived later into the season. And yeah, it's just been really nice to grow and create life that way. So definitely going to continue that in the next growing season. I do now have the disappointing process of putting the garden to bed and doing winter and getting ready for the new growing season. But that's all right. That's the part of life that I have to learn as well. So as you can see, we have done a lot of filling in the reading log on the other side, and then I had to create this next portion. Now I, for some reason, was so onto it that I only put down in a moment the stickers for up to number 16, and that's how many books I ended up reading in March. So there was no wastage there. That's what I'm doing right now. But I have this blank page on the other side, and if you saw what I did with that last year, I'm going to be doing the same thing this year, and I'm going to be putting down favorite quotes, not the first quote, but favorite quotes on that side. And here is me showing you the app Shelf Control. I absolutely rely on this for everything when it comes to ARC stuff. I use it for ARCs, and it will be going live very soon. So for people who are interested and don't mind paying a small subscription, please do check this out when it goes live. But it has kept me on track so much, and that is why I use it. So I'm just, as I said earlier on, I'm just going to add my ARCs list in here, and I'm going to put down the dates of when they're due. The great thing about this app is it shows me literally everything that I need to know, even the names of the authors when I can't read them, so I have to go and zoom in and bring my head into the camera. Anyway, so I'm really, really happy with this app, and I'm excited to see how many other people enjoy it in the future as well. It's had a really good response. So fingers crossed everyone enjoys it when it's live and can be used by others out of the beta portion that it's been in now. So yeah, as you can see, I'm putting down all my ARC lists on here, and I have quite a few for April. Actually didn't write them all down. I think there's one more that I left off. Oh no, we're already into May stuff. That's right. These last two here are May books, but the other ones that I want to try and get through. It's being very ambitious. It is now the 4th of April when I am narrating this. I was actually supposed to have this video up today, but I will have to do it on Sunday instead. It is Easter here, and just, you know, even though it happens every single year where shops close down and Easter just sort of throws everyone into a spanner, I am just so behind because of Easter, and I didn't have any Easter plans, so I don't understand how it's worked, but it has. So yeah, unfortunately this video is going to be a day late, but that's all right. And I just am really grateful that I had the opportunity to sit down and narrate this today and get this out for you as soon as possible. I really enjoy these sides of things that people don't necessarily get to see. And I didn't think much of like sharing how I use my journal with everyone. I thought that it wouldn't be interesting, but from the reels that I've been doing on Instagram, I've noticed that a lot of people want to actually see what pages get used and how they get used. So I figured that I would do another one of these and just have a little chat with you all and hope that you're all doing really well. Yeah. It's exciting to have different goals this year for how I'm sharing my content on this channel. And I'm hoping that I can do more of these types of videos and also start sharing more of my reviews. I have been doing them as shorts. I've been doing more shorts recently, which I'd love to know if you've been enjoying those as well. So basically just grabbing content that I'm using in Instagram that could be used here as well. It makes a lot of sense to me to broaden that out so everyone can see. But that's it. This is basically where we're going to leave off. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I will see you in my actual wrap-up video for March. Bye, everyone.